Sup, you beautiful bastards. Hope you're having a fantastic Wednesday. Welcome back to the Philip DeFranco Show, and let's just jump into it. And the first thing we need to talk about today is Article 13, aka the reason why those of you watching in Europe right now might in the very near future not be able to watch me, among many other things.
Strength and honor.
Strength and honor.
Strength and honor. At my signal, unleash hell.
What up, y'all? It's Devin with Up TV, aka the Dot Connector, and this year is a very sad year for the internet. The internet as we know it will soon be under the full control of the elite as we continue to move towards this new world order. The European Parliament passed an online copyright bill known as the European Copyright Directive. Article 13 of the EUCD is framed as a way for copyright law to be strengthened online, forcing major tech companies to make a greater effort to monitor for copyrighted works uploaded by users. Under these new rules, content hosts such as YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter must properly license copyrighted material or be held liable for it being shared on its service. In other words, in the EU, they soon won't be able to share memes. They won't be able to create content such as YouTube videos, even if they are following fair use laws. They won't even be able to share a link to an article on platforms like Facebook and Twitter. YouTubers can no longer share gameplay footage. The copyright directive literally affects almost every content creator, movie reviewers, tech reviewers, but most important, truthers and alternative media.
YouTube posted an op-ed from their CEO titled The Potential Unintended Consequences of Article 13. And in the post, she says that the creator economy is under threat from Article 13, and while YouTube supports the goal, this specific proposal in its current form could have negative effects on creators and viewers. And she also provides an example like that of the video for Despacito, which is the most viewed video on YouTube, writing, "This video contains multiple copyrights ranging from sound recording to publishing rights. Although YouTube has agreements with multiple entities to license and pay for the video, some of the rights holders remain unknown. That uncertainty means we might have to block videos like this to avoid liability under Article 13. Multiply that risk with the scale of YouTube, where more than 400 hours of video are uploaded every minute. And the potential liabilities could be so large that no company could take on such a financial risk. And so there lies the primary issue with Article 13 when the content is uploaded unless they know for sure who owns every single part of it. It wouldn't make sense for YouTube to allow for it to go up. And Susan pointed out that they've already been working on things to deal with copyright strikes, things like the Content ID program, a program that she says has paid out more than 2.5 billion euros to copyright holders. And she also added that Article 13 will lead to EU residents not having access to some videos, saying EU residents are at risk of being cut off from videos that in just the last month they viewed more than 90 billion times. Those videos come from around the world, including more than 35 million EU channels, and they include language classes and science tutorials as well as music videos. Also pointing out in the FAQ of their Article 13 site that some of the content that would have to be blocked include fan music covers, mashups, parodies, and more. And adding, "We ask policymakers to find a solution that protects rights holders and creators alike, and listen to the growing number of EU voices, including some member countries who agree there's a better way forward."
This law says anytime you use something that doesn't belong to you, it belongs to another entity, be it a newspaper, a person, a platform, you have just broken the law. You can't do it.
Right. If anything, it's a way to reconcile with the fact that people are questioning narratives of the big media companies a lot of the time online. So what happened this morning is that the European Parliament passed some legislation that essentially clamps down on online sharing. Basically, if you're going to share something, whether it be an image, a meme, or a quote from another article, you need permission from the content owner. Now, in theory, this was already the law, but what's changing with this new copyright directive is that the onus is now on the online platform, whereas it used to be on the content owner. If I said, hey, like Sarah's using my image, please take it down, I didn't give her permission, then Facebook would take it down. But now Facebook is required legally to take it down whether or not I say, hey, please take it down. So that's what's changing here. Now, Alex Voss, the man behind the legislation, here's how he defended it. He said this directive is an important step towards properly remunerating the thousands of creatives and journalists whose social media platforms depend on. But here's the thing, critics, like I kind of alluded to before, are saying that this is doing more than just fighting piracy, that we're actually going to see a change in the internet as we know it. Julia Reda, who's another member of the European Parliament, actually called this a dark day for internet freedom. And the Electronic Frontier Foundation says that this legislation turns the web into a tool for the automated surveillance and control of its users. So let me break this down for you guys. Basically, what critics are taking issue with are two provisions here, Article 11 and Article 13. Article 11 essentially ends the ability to quote from articles freely, even if you're linking to it. Even if it's like more than 1 or 2 words, you need permission from the author. So even if you're a platform like a nonprofit or a Creative Commons news site, you can't opt out of this system. So that's very interesting.
Well, but hold on a minute. You
Sure.
know, what I'm seeing is with this law that they're basically engaging in a space where they don't belong. I'm a journalist. I was trained as a journalist. I know when I'm supposed
cite.
to attribute.
Right.
I know when I'm supposed to source.
Right.
And I certainly understand what the domain of my business is. And I don't need some lawyer, some congressman in Europe to tell me how I source material when I use it.
Precisely. Well, what's changing is that these quotes will now have to be paid for. So like you're, insinuating, this will really affect the quality of journalism going forward. It will heavily prioritize the larger news corporations and kind of, be a thorn in the side of the smaller guys and hinder the free exchange of knowledge.
I got to tell you guys, I see a big fight coming because this is stuff that's not owned by anybody. This is the type of stuff that's information and it's out there. It's in space. It's in the free
and
market.
creativity comes from building on other people.
Being restricted.
Yeah.
And for those of you who are sitting back thinking this doesn't affect them because they don't live in the EU, should understand that soon this law will sweep the whole world. This is about money. This is about controlling information in the news that the masses gets to see on a daily basis. This is about putting an end to free speech online. This has always been the plan of the elite. So believe me when I say that they plan on using the copyright directive worldwide to control the internet and major social sites like YouTube and Facebook. This is the only way they can bring in the new world order, by controlling the minds of the masses, by controlling information, by limiting knowledge. This is literally Fahrenheit 451 happening right before our very own eyes. And if you haven't read the book or seen the movie, go watch my video about it and you'll know exactly what I mean. We can no longer sit back and ignore the political game of chess that these corrupt politicians are playing. For those of you who want or need a glimpse into the future of YouTube videos, specifically Up TV, then here it is. Soon we will never be allowed to use GIFs, music, or video clips in any video. My videos will only be allowed to show a single image. Before long after that, the image will be removed and my videos along with the rest of YouTube will become just a blog talk radio with no music or special sound effects at all, eventually destroying the market completely for independent creators.
I want to thank everyone for the work they've done on this important file. We are all united in our shared mission to protect artists and cultural diversity in Europe. And I speak as rapporteur in the IMCO committee, which is the only committee to share joint competency on one of the most controversial articles, Article 13. In our committee, we're able to reach a broad compromise that makes meaningful progress on the value gap, while at the same time safeguarding the rights of European internet users, SMEs and startups. I deeply regret that the IMCO position has not been taken into account and the jury text does not achieve the needed balance. There are real concerns about the effect of Article 13 on freedom of expression, raised by experts ranging from the UN Special Rapporteur David Kay to the inventor of the World Wide Web, Sir Tim Berners-Lee. And there are real concerns voiced by our citizens. Just yesterday, I received a petition signed by almost 1 million people against the jury committee mandate. And although
colleagues, I would appreciate your patience. Mrs. Staller has the right to speak in opposition for 2 minutes. Mrs. Staller, please continue.
There is consensus about the goals behind this law, huge controversy still exists about the methods proposed. Something's not right here.
Critics say it's the end of parodies and memes, but some musicians say changes to copyright law in the EU ensure artists are paid for their work. Musician Wycliffe Jean has spoken out against the law. He says artists should be working with hosting sites to maximize their exposure.
I own some of the biggest copyrights in the world, and I'm telling any kid right here, I don't want to filter for you if you want to play the Wyclef Jean music. So this is how I'm going to discover the next artist. So as a producer, back home, all of the producers, the way that they're going to discover artists is through these platforms.
However, former Beatles Sir Paul McCartney was in favour. It's a debate in the music industry that goes back to the early days of music downloading. There are those that want to get paid for what they say is their intellectual property, but others feel it will mean their work won't get promoted as widely. The law's most contentious points were Articles 11 and 13. Article 11 requires online companies to pay news outlets for hosting their content. Article 13 requires platforms to stop users from sharing unlicensed copyright material. Edward Adu is a broadcaster and DJ who routinely uploads his content. He now fears that this could come to an end.
This ruling is just not about artists making money. It's about connecting with people who share music on a daily basis, from getting married to university graduating to funerals, all aspects of life. If a track is not approved or is not given a seal of approval by the record label or by the copywriter, it's not going to be put on that channel.
This, ladies and gentlemen, is our future online if we don't actively work now to find a way to start reversing the damage that has already been done. As an individual creator, we already don't have enough rights to protect us. Any company can claim rights to any content in any of our videos, even if it's not their own. Creators can try to appeal, but if these companies don't agree, they don't have to release the claim, even if they know for a fact that the content is not theirs, or that they are unjustly claiming content that falls under fair use laws. In court, many of these claims that companies are making on content creators wouldn't hold up for their benefit, but YouTube still gives these companies the right to take down your video and issue you a copyright strike on your channel. With the EUCD in place now, YouTube themselves will be held liable for any copyrighted content uploaded on their platform. How many fines will it take for YouTube to receive before they start banning all content? How much longer before YouTube no longer exists? How long before there is no more Up TV? How long before we lose our free speech? This is Devin with Up TV, signing out. I love you, family, and I'll holla at y'all later. Peace.
As for how long it takes to implement the copyright directive, I'm not sure, but I'll say this. Today, we just watched free speech on the internet sentenced to digital oblivion by the EU, and most people are just busily going about their day, completely unaware as to what just occurred. Look out the window, watch as oblivious people walk to and from work, sit in traffic, buy their groceries, collect their kids from school. The average normie is still asleep, and they have no clue what just happened today and what it's going to mean for the future. But one day, when they wake up and they're no longer able to do the things online that they once were, they're going to scratch their heads with confusion and wonder, what's going on here? What's happening? And then, when it's too late, they'll finally wake up from their slumber. It's just pathetic. My final word? Fuck the EU.
Thank you for watching Up TV. If you like this video and would love to see more, check out these great videos here, and don't forget to subscribe to Up TV and Up TV 2 for even more great videos.